All right, so you've decided to start selling your home. The next decision you need to make is whether to do this through a real estate agent or by yourself. And if you're leaning towards doing it by yourself, we want to give you 7 effective strategies that will help you avoid most common mistakes that people encounter during the process and also at closing. First thing you got to understand is that you will be receiving a lot of phone calls. And most of those phone calls are going to be coming in from agents looking for your listing, not necessarily those that have buyers for your property. They will start calling early at 8 o'clock in the morning, and those phone calls will likely continue throughout the day. After 2 or 3 days of picking up the phones, you will very likely be frustrated and annoyed at agents calling you all the time, clearly not having buyers. So instead of being annoyed with them and telling them off, I suggest that you use this opportunity to actually interview them. Since they're calling you and you're spending the time anyway, if after a couple of weeks you're not seeing the traction that you were hoping for, or the prices that you're seeing on offers, if any, are not to your liking, you might decide to switch over to the real estate agent path. And if that's the case, all you gotta do is interview the agents while they're calling you, narrow down the list to 2 or 3 people that you were particularly impressed with, invite them over to your home if you do make that decision, interview them again, and then decide on one agent that's going to be helping you with the process moving forward. Next thing you got to do is you got to create a script for yourself. And there are 2 types of scripts that you need. First is you need to have a script for real estate agents that are calling you, because that's going to be the bulk of your calls. You need to, first of all, discern between agents that are looking for your listing and ask them questions specific to the intention of possibly using them down the road. And the second script you need to have for them is to ask around about the buyers that they have. Second type of script that you need to use is for people that are not represented by a real estate agent. And those are finicky groups. So you need to be ready to ask them all the right questions to pre-qualify them on their financial situation, and also see if you'd be interested in having them over at your home. Next, always pick up a phone when people are calling. Don't text them back saying you'll call them during your lunch hour after work. That leads to missed opportunities. People have a few properties to go after, and if your phone number goes into the voicemail, they'll continue calling down the list and they might zero in another property that they want to buy. So it's going to be an opportunity and a lead and a potential offer lost for you. Another thing that's quite beneficial for you to do is once you put together the marketing package for your property, and I'm not going to cover what constitutes a marketing package in this video, all I'm going to say is that once you have your photos and the videos ready, it would be great to be able to put them onto a specially designated website. And the URL address for the website is usually your streetname.com. Similarly, you should create a separate email address so that you know all the requests that are going to this email are property specific, and you will be at ease giving out that email address to any realtor or anybody else who's calling, knowing that it's not going to be mixed with your regular messages in your mailbox and not going to be bombarded with stuff that you don't need. So those 2 things are quite important. One more thing that you may want to consider is getting a separate SIM card for the calls that are coming in, and maybe a second phone, because again, you will know to give priority to the phone calls that are coming related to the property that you're trying to sell at the moment. Next, it's very important to price your home accurately. It shouldn't be based on what you want to get for it. It should be based on what's been selling in your area over the past 2 to 3 months. And it is usually beneficial to involve a professional into this. So for example, if you have a recent appraisal from a bank, that might serve as a guideline for pricing your home. Or you might engage a flat fee brokerage, and often they do help consumers with pricing their homes and even with marketing to a degree. Pricing is a key factor in deciding whether your home will sell, whether it will sell for a record price, and how fast it will sell as well. It will also help you in determining the right strategy for selling the home, whether you want to overprice it, price it at market, or underprice it. Once you know the accurate pricing for the home, you can make those types of decisions. Next is selecting a selling strategy. In the previous point, I talked about how important it is to accurately price your home, because they will help you decide on the strategy you want to follow. And basically, there are 2 strategies that you can choose from. One is to sell the house by pricing it at market as accurately as you can, expecting for that one showing, one offer, and one buyer with whom you'll negotiate on the one-on-one basis. Second strategy is to price the property under the market value, either by a small margin or a wide margin, up to 25 to 30%, depending on the current market conditions. And this way you can expect several offers on the table at the same time, competing against one another, and possibly you could drive the price even above the market. So people tend to overbid when they don't know what's happening with prices on other offers. When there are 5 to 7 offers on the table at the same time, they are emotional, they're attached to the property, they want to try their best, and sometimes they jump above the current market levels for prices. Just be careful with that strategy, because it requires a lot of communication. There'll be swarms of people going through your home, and you have to think this through to make sure that it's a success. Next is you absolutely got to know the time frame that you have for selling your home. If you have to sell it by a certain date, you need to know what that date is. So if you bought a house already, you bought your next home, and that date is looming and it's in 3 or 4 months, you need to know when you have to stop your selling and start the selling process through a real estate agent. Because if you're not successful with that 4-month time frame in selling your home after 2 or 3 months, that might already be a little bit too late to engage anybody else to make sure you can close on the home. So make sure you know where your boundaries are, and make sure that you're ready to switch gears if necessary. Next, and this is the last point that I'm going to give you, is you gotta involve a real estate lawyer right from the beginning of the process. Don't wait until you have a fully negotiated offer that you're sending off to them, because they might discover that there's a lot of things that you've missed that should have been there that are protecting you. So find a lawyer that's willing to talk to you whenever you have questions, someone who's willing to help you with the process before closing, way before closing. As soon as you put the property on the market, start talking to them. So that's very important. There's a lot of moving parts in any real estate transaction, and screwing up is very easy, even for a professional. So if you're not doing this every day, a lawyer will be an invaluable asset during the time that you're selling your property. And the last thing I want to talk about is the negotiation part of the process itself. So at some point you'll receive an offer on your property, and you'll need to negotiate on that offer. You need to negotiate on the terms and on the price. And the first thing that of course you need to know is you need to know how to read those standard offer forms so that you know where all the parts are. Because there's going to be a ton of clauses, there's going to be a price, there's going to be a deposit, there's going to be a closing date. And at this stage of the process, it's extremely beneficial to have an open line with a lawyer who will advise you on anything you need to do with the offer. You can decide on the price on your own, but as far as the clauses are concerned, a lawyer will be a great help. They might recommend to cross out some of the clauses the buyer is suggesting you include, because they're not protecting you, they're protecting the buyer. They might suggest that you add some clauses that are protective of you and will help you with the closing process. So have a conversation with the lawyer, have an open line with the lawyer that will help you with the negotiation process. As far as the price, you got to know what the comparables are in the area, and you need to know how your home compares to those that have sold in the past 2 to 3 months. And you need to be able to convey this information convincingly to either the buyer or the buyer's agent. Because you don't want to have a situation that you sign on the offer, you get the deposit, the deal is firm, you look back and think, well, I've undersold. I could have gotten $50, $100, or $500,000 more because I rushed the process. So start preparing for this negotiation step even before you put the home on the market. Study those forms, know where all the parts are, get a lawyer with whom you're comfortable talking and who is open to talking to you. And this will help you make sure that the process is smooth and easy and you get the most money for your house. That's about it. I hope you enjoyed the content. Hit the like button if you did. Consider subscribing, and tell me in the comments if there are any other questions that you think are important that I might want to cover in the follow-up videos. That's about it. I'm out.